Hello, hello. Happy Monday, July 20th, 2026. How is everybody? Colin, you're on the road? YouTube till you get home? All right. Um, you like the pick of the salt and pepper card? Yeah, we thought we'd mix it up. We took a couple pictures last week just to change it up a little bit. And it was Lindsay's idea to put the salt and pepper shakers in there. Give it a little festive look for those that are paying attention. Howdy, Kathleen, Russell. All right. Had a funny thing happen. So I mentioned last week that I was actively working on updating the Esterbrooks site. So a couple of interesting statistics for you. I originally started that project sometime around 2003, because in 2004 I registered the domain. So, hey Gabriel. So that project's been going on for 22 years at least. And I got the bright idea to rebuild the site and actually made some steps towards doing it 7 years ago. It's been 7 years. I literally have a test website set up, and I'm like, mocking things in. 2028 would be a good year to publish. No, it's going to be this year, I think. I mentioned last week, we took years ago, we took images. I would have been at least 7 years ago. We took all the images, every pen that I had, every desk pen, every desk set, every ballpoint, every felt tip, different nibs styles, boxes, ephemera, everything. And somehow almost all of it got lost. I ended up with like 50 images. Not even 50. And then I brought it up last week. I said, you know what, we should really do this now. Not that I have the capacity, but I have the capacity. It's just me. I can do whatever I want when I want. Let's just get this done. And lo and behold, about 400, just shy of 400 images surfaced in raw format that I didn't know we had. And then, surprise, surprise, a day later, we discovered PSDs and JPEGs for those 400 images. So they had already been edited. So today, I'm excited. Log into my test website and start playing around, refamiliarizing myself with it, because it's been a long time. It's been a long time. So I go in there and I drop a couple images in, because I had the old images on the test site. So I dropped the new images in, and they're not quite right. The sizing is not right. So they all have to be re-edited. But my daughter, who is pretty good, she's really pretty good. She whipped through the first 95, resized them for me, and so we got that. We've been playing around with the sizing on the site, so it's different, and it's going to be, a website designer who might be able to fix the website if that's the problem. There is going to be one How's it going? Good to see you. Welcome back, everybody. David is back. There is going to be one tense moment because I'm rebuilding it on WordPress. So on a subdomain. So I have to figure out how to transfer that so everything works to the main domain. So we'll see. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I know there are ways to do it. I don't think it's as simple as copying the files and dropping them into the regular domain, but we'll figure that out. But I have some images, and I'm about 400 images better than I thought I ever was. So I'm starting to fill in holes. The text on the website is being rewritten, added to. It's going to be better. And I'm just going to keep plugging along. Every week I'm going to give my daughter another 15, 20 pens. Search the archives of what we already have. Things we've restored and sold. And we'll go from there. So anyway, that's the update on that. That's pretty exciting. It was a little bit of a bummer this morning because I was thinking, man, it's going to take forever to but we have the PSD, so she can kind of go in and redo them. So anyway, that's the update on that. We'll give little updates as there are updates. But yeah, I couldn't believe it was 2004. When I bought the domain, and I know I used to have it. If anybody remembers, now this is really going to show my age. If anybody remembers Angel Fire, anybody remember that platform? My first Esterbrooks website was on Angel Fire, which actually I believe you can find on archive.org, but I don't remember. The address, but I'm pretty sure it's on there. So that was probably 2000. You had an Angel Fire website too? That's fantastic. It might have been early to 2024. Because I might have just bought the domain like right away. I just don't remember. But it could have been 2023. It was no earlier than 2023 or 2003. So anyway. Nostalgia. Love it. All right, what do we got cooking for today? So, we got some pens. We went antique shopping on Saturday. We took the day off and we left early. And it's not too often we get skunked, but we really got skunked on Saturday. I bought one pen for David, which is the nicest Lakeside by Montgomery Ward that you will ever see in your life. I was having an existential moment trying to decide if I needed that in my collection. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe David wants this. And then I felt bad because I went back to the counter twice. I said, hey, can I see that pen again? Let me see that. Let me take a picture of that. And, but that was it. And then we went to this one place that was literally, the GPS tells us, okay, turn here. And we look and there's no street. And there's a driveway through the woods. Gravel path. There was grass in the middle. There's just 2 tire tracks. And we go through, and it opens up into this actually quite lovely, there's a little house, but a nice little patch of grass, and it's surrounded by, farm, corn or whatever. I don't know what it was. She had a nice little paradise all to herself that was hidden away in the woods. In this old barn. And the rafters were actual logs. They weren't cut. They were actual logs. And this woman was 85 if she was a day old. And we go through, and I'm thinking, man, this is the type of place. Nobody comes here. She's been throwing fountain pens in a cigar box for decades. This is the kind of place where that kind of action is going to happen. And we look around, and there's like a ballpoint desk set that I was not interested in, and, you know, some cool furniture, whatever. But I mean, it was literally in a barn. It was dusty. It was dirty. Very strange. And so I asked and say, well, do you have any fountain pens or writing instruments? She goes, oh, yes, I have some fountain pens. And my heart's going. She goes behind the counter. She pulls out a big box. Opens it up to reveal the biggest bunch of crap you'd ever see in your life. There were 2 fountain pens in there, and they were on par with Stratford. There actually were 2 Eversharp, gold-filled Eversharp pencils, but I couldn't see myself doing it. Nothing I needed, nothing I wanted. Thank you very much. We left. We went to one of the last places we went. We get in, and it's really tight getting in. You know, and I like those kinds of places because you never know what you're going to find. And we get in. Yeah, the treasure of the last shop you visited. You just weren't looking hard enough. So we actually had to wait outside for about like 3 or 4 minutes because there was somebody coming out with a chair, and apparently she had her little cash box like right on the sidewalk. And so you couldn't get in if somebody was trying to pay or get out. So we were waiting 3, 4, 5 minutes. We were looking at crap in the yard that she's got there, you know, little lawn ornaments and things. And finally we get in and she goes, oh, well, welcome. She says, quilts and stained glass are 50% off today. So fantastic. Fantastic. Really great. We walk in. I don't even know how to describe it. Stained glass. Yeah. Stained glass, 50% off. Now there were like 3 pieces of stained glass in the doorway as we walked in, like on the ground, like leaning up against the door frame. I'm like, cool, right? We walk in, and each room was sort of like a viewing area where you could see what was in the room, but there was no way ever you were going to get anything in that room if it wasn't immediately in front of you. Like, we saw a couple of really super cool lamps. I was like, hey, that's a really cool lamp. I wonder how much that is. Followed by, I wonder how many days it would take for her to pull everything out so we could get to the lamp. It was like, there was no way. You couldn't get anywhere. Every room was that way. And the quilts were 50% off, except you couldn't move in the quilt room because the quilts were just literally piled on top of each other about 7, 8 feet tall. Just, so, you know, if they had fountain pens there, we never would have gotten to them. And we gave up after that. It's like, yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. So, but I was interested in one of the lamps, and I'm thinking it'd probably take at least 45 minutes because you got to move everything out, and I don't know where you're going to move it to, because if there were 2 people trying to walk through the hallway at the same time, one of us had to back up so the other could get through. That's how, it was ridiculous. So, Yeah, absolutely skunked. We you know, aside from the two crappy fountain pens we saw in the barn, there were no pens. And we actually went to another mall that had hundreds of dealers, but apparently their definition of antique were beer glasses with, you know, Green Bay Packers logos on them and Milwaukee Brewer logos and bobbleheads and Matchbox cars. Not a single pen in an antique mall. It was really ridiculous. So completely skunked. At least my buddy David's got something fun to look at. Yeah. Your pen's great. That pen's great. It's in your box. You'll get it in a couple weeks. I guess it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks? You still don't know why you need it? When you see it, you will be like, well, this is the nicest lakeside you're ever going to find. You're never going to find one better. If you do, I will buy this one back. How about that? I'll make that deal for you. If you find a nicer lakeside that is this particular model, black chased hard rubber, eyedropper, gold repoussé, cap band, clipless, in the box with instructions, you probably need to collect them. I can help you out. I was looking at, believe it or not, this is no lie. I was looking at auctions today, and I saw an auction lot for a dual fold senior in black and a lakeside, like junior sized in green plastic. Maybe save an eBay search. I almost texted it to you. Anyway, is the weather better here this week? Yeah, it's a little better. We still have air quality alerts. It's not as bad as it was last week. We were supposed to get rain today, but it didn't happen. It's not quite, it's high 80s today. My air conditioning seems to work. I just got a new fan, which is actually pretty awesome. So I might actually take it home and take the one I had at home and bring it here. Yeah, you throw away the Parker and keep the lakeside. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get 3, you got a collection. But I mean, you will have the nicest lakeside collection of anybody I know. Anybody. I mean, that says a lot, really. All right, here's what we got cooking for today. I got a couple client pens, actually 3. I got this Delta. We need to try to get this nib out of this Delta and reset it. It doesn't look too bad, but it looks slightly off. If we can get it better, it's a pretty tough cookie, so I don't know if it's going to be possible. We got an M2 that needs some serious internal work. So I've got my very limited supply of M2 parts pens with which to steal a pressure bar from. We got a nice new old stock J. We're going to put a new sack in. And then these guys are left over from last week. We should be able to assemble these and test them. And after all that is done, these just came in today, so I'm going to double check these. These are new consignment pens. These guys, I need to check the filling systems on these Conways. The Sheaffer's probably just going to test and see. Yeah, I didn't even look at this one. No converter. Test and get a writing sample of. And then this is, what was this? What anniversary was this? Is this the 100th anniversary on this one? I can't remember. Vermeil. Connoisseur, or maybe it wasn't the Connoisseur. I don't remember. But so that's what we're gonna do last. Let's see. I'm looking over. I got another tray. This tray of craziness. Maybe we can get rid of a couple pens out of here. Actually, we got a couple that are sacked. Skyline, this Lucky Curve, and the Cardinal. We'll do the Cardinal. We'll get those out. So that's what we got cooking for today. All right. So this is an M2, one of my a really decent later Esterbrook, 1958-ish vintage. It's missing the press bar, which is kind of goofy. Got that. And this guy, like I said. This is supposed to pull straight out, but it really doesn't want to pull out. Oh, you know, I don't have my loop. Oh, man. We finally remembered to take my loop, and we found no pens, and it got left in Lisa's purse. I have a backup. Let me see if I can find it here. Not sure where it is, but maybe this will work. This is a Zeiss Gold. All right, well, we will soak that. Doug did a Sheaffer vac fill on Sunday. How'd that work out for him? So I was kind of excited this weekend. One of the pens on Lisa's all-time list that she used to have that she sold and no longer has, and she's wanted for a while, is Visconti Kaleido Voyager in burgundy. For some reason, I keep getting it mixed up and think it's different colors. Well, as luck would have it, I happened to find one at auction, and I put in a bid on it for her. And I'm reading it on my phone. I'm like, oh, well, this auction ends tomorrow. Great. Her birthday's coming up. What a great birthday present this would be. It's the right color. I just showed it to her. She's like, yeah, I think that's it. It's the wrong nib, but she's like, well, you know, we'll just grind the nib. And I get in this morning. I knew like the auction was starting at 10 o'clock. My time. So I get in. I log on to the auction website. And it's a live auction. And I'm like, well, it just doesn't look right. It still shows as pending and whatnot. Here it doesn't, the auction doesn't start until August 20th. Not July 20th. August 20th. So we're going to wait. We got to wait. This is pretty clean, but let's dunk it in the ultrasonic anyway. All right, so I'm going to have to dig through my collection here and, oh, hey, look, there we go. Well, why don't we just take that? That's actually a decent pen. I don't know why that's in there. Oh, there's a good nib. What is this pen doing in here? This pen is like perfect. Oh, it's got a crack in the cap. Oh, here's a blast from the past. That was the price tag on this when we first started selling pens. 15 bucks. This one was 20. It must have been really nice. All right, well, we're going to use that one. It should be chrome, but they interchanged all the time. Just get rid of some of this rust on here. There we go. I just want to check something here. Yeah, check it. I don't want to do that one. All right, so the ones with an imprint on the neck here don't have anything on the press bar. Yeah, I think I got to replace the whole thing. This is tacked on there. So that whole piece has got to be replaced. But I can't just swap that out. Which explains the difference in section from this to this. You know what? This is actually... That's a different version. That's an A101 if I even have one. Here we go. Yeah, that's an A101. Black is A101. Shorter section with a slot here for the end of the bar that this hole goes in. This is seriously warm. You can kind of do this and then slide it in, and then that's what you got. Yeah, so this is the wrong parts bag. Alright, so I don't need this. All right, so I'm going to hold off on that because I want to get back to the. I have to sell in this part. Because this just won't. This won't work. This actually looks really good, so I'm not going to do much with that. J-bar is solid. And it locks in the right place. Those seem to be pretty clean. Just going to heat this section up on this Dolce Vita here. It's a mini. The nib is supposed to be a friction fit, according to the distributor. Yeah, it's not going to open. Hey, Colin, you're home. You got your cardinal order today? Quick, good. I'll be sending you an email later. I got something today in the mail that you're going to want. Oh, these stinking feed channels. I got two for you. I got two fill cows. Gary, hello. How you doing? I'm just trying to straighten out the fins here. Unfortunately, with the amount of pressure required to try to pull it out, it's kind of move some of these in the wrong direction. That looks better. That's the hardest friction fit nib I've ever seen. Do you want to, Colin, do you want to see the Philcows? Do you want to see them? I can bring them out. There's just two. All right. Hang on. Let me get it. Did that Cocoa set ship? Yes. Yeah, it shipped on Friday. It is on its way to its new home. Now, to be honest, I just got these in a couple hours ago. I haven't looked at them at all. Move this side. Instructions, whatever. Well, that's a big pen. You said one is a victory. I don't know what a victory is. This is the 1918? Leader, 1918. Got some weight to it. Looks like it's signed by Richard Binder. You don't have a yellow one. You do now. Okay. String is broken on there. Anything under here? Nope, nothing under there. So. Schmidt nib looks like a medium, fine, medium, medium. Yes, string. Okay, that's fun. With Richard Binder's autograph. That's got to be worth at least $10. You probably have this one. Pentrace 2004 LE. Oh, look at that. Your host, Donal. I remember when these were made. Medium nib. Oops. Trim ring came off. this? This is threaded here. I'm not gonna mess with that. And then what did it come with? An extra fine nib and a broad. Guess we should test and see if these fill, huh? I don't think this was ever used. There's a fine nib and a broad nib. So you get fine, medium, and broad. Yeah. All was inked. Well, maybe it was just tuned. I mean, there wasn't much. It was either cleaned well or it was just residue from having been inked or having been tuned. Real pretty material. Interesting, it didn't actually engrave the barrel. Did Richard have a hand in these two? Maybe he used Mysterious Blue on them to tune them. Limited edition, 2004. You get the card. Very nice. Let's just check this one. He consulted for the U.S. market pens. Oh, okay. This is really a heavy, look at this, metal blind cap. Well, that's a nice fill. Had a little ink in it, but I think it was maybe... Well, that's a nice fill on that. Holy cow. Interesting pen. That's, I mean, it's really impressive how well that fills. Just spin it out. Hey, Fuzzy. How's it going? All right, Colin. We'll be in touch. These are yours. All right. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna hold off because, like I say, when you're doing repairs for other people, if the price goes above what you initially quoted, unless they specifically say whatever it takes, you stop. Because there is no way to just replace this part on here. You have to replace the whole unit. I can get rid of that. So, but this guy we can put together. Crazy USPS informed delivery program. Just got an email saying to expect a package delivery today that has arrived at the sorting facility at 3:30 p.m., which is an hour away from there. Now, I've had a package. First package I've had. Go missing in Oak Creek. And interesting story. You can submit a missing package request, but you can only submit it once. And if you don't submit it under your normal USPS account, like Lisa submitted it, I don't know how she submitted it, but she submitted it not under my normal USPS account that I use for the business, you can't resubmit it and you can't track it because it's not in your account. You can't get updates on a missing records request that you didn't submit. So I find that a lot of fun. You've been a day or two late. The last few times for you, the pen's already waited. Who knows how long in an unrestored state? So what's a day or two? Yeah, right? Right. You know, and the thing is, you know, my experience has been very good. In 16 years of doing business, the number of packages that truly got lost is incredibly small. Over, you know, close to 100,000 packages. Less than 20 probably. And it might be significantly less than that. All right, so that's good. We're going to wait on this. I don't really see any problem with this, so I don't know why we have this. Feed sitting good on the nib. It's maybe a micrometer out further than I would normally want it to be, but I will give it the stamp of approval that it's okay. Let's see. Let's put these together. We had local pen club yesterday. Not super well attended, but it's the middle of summer, so to be expected, I guess. I had a couple pens with me, and a couple of the pens that I had been working on and testing here on the stream here in the last week or so, and I had that nice Conklin Endura. I had someone interested, and of course, I didn't think that somebody would actually be interested in buying it, and so I didn't have a price for it. And so I'm thinking like, oh, I gotta look it up. I gotta see, what is it? Is it a $200 pen? Is it a $250 pen? What's the actual good going rate on it? And she says to me, oh, well, it's got a crack in the cap. And I'm thinking, no, there's no way it has a crack in the cap. Can't possibly have a crack. I mean, I looked at it, thought about keeping it. Can't possibly. Sure enough, there's a stinking crack in the cap of the pen. Like, well, I don't normally sell pens with cracks in them. So that one might have to stay with me. The crack is added patina, $300. I was really I was really pretty upset about it, actually. I was like, oh. Because, of course, it's on the back of the cap where you can't see it. And it goes underneath the cap band. And, all that jazz. So that one may stay with me. All right, so let's. I'm going to reassemble some of these guys and clear this tray up a little bit. Why isn't that interesting? How the hell is that supposed to fit over that? Sold 14 pens last week, a new weekly record. Finally tracked down to Edson, huh? Well, this is really a pain in the butt. There was no way to adjust this. I guess we got to force it over. You don't know what possessed you to buy the Visconti ink pot, but you really like it. Seems like a lot of thought went into it. They made some really cool ones. They made some with filigrees and crap on them. I mean, just really ridiculous. Amazing how fast some eBay sellers send you discount offers. You were just perusing for diplo spaces, didn't even favorite anything, just looked and 2 offers came in. What's a good price for a 407 dipless? In black, I'm assuming. I mean, depended on the nib. I didn't even put a sack on that one. That's weird. I mean, you know. Did I sack this? Oh, these were, yeah, this is good to go. Brown is better than black. Just the base. Base on black, 20, 25 bucks. I wouldn't pay more than that ever. Brown. Brown's hard to find. You know, double it. This barrel needs a little polish here. You asked yourself the same question with the multi-grappa inkwell you recently got. Then I look at it again and its absurdity makes you smile. Yeah. Absurdity makes you smile. $16 plus shipping isn't bad for black. Yeah, I mean, if you need it. All the cool kids have brown, though. Walnut. Technically, it's walnut. A mahogany. Let me check. Let me reference my list of bases here. My master list. 407. Yeah, your options are black, maroon, gray. Actually, I need a maroon and I need a gray. You find a maroon and a gray, you let me know. And green. They made them in green. I've never actually seen gray. And then they made them all with doubles. And they made black in a double with chains. But yeah, green, gray, walnut, maroon, and black. So if y'all have any of those, I could use one for picture. It seems to me, and I'm just going on memory here. And we'll see what happens in DC, but it seems to me that there were more desk bases at pen shows in the past. Like, I was shocked how, I mean, short of Cindy Reppert's table, which has, of course, you know, all of Dan's Sheaffer stuff, but how few there were in Chicago. Yeah, Chicago is sadly lacking. But then again, my sales my sales history with desk sets the last month kind of answers that question. This is going to kind of be a user grade dual fold junior lapis. We've got brassing on the trim. We've got oxidation. You need to stay away from them since you have a lifetime supply at this point. I should buy you a plane ticket so you can help me find places for all that I have. I would do that. I'd come hang out for a while. We can figure that out. Put up some shelves. Maybe buy some shelves. You didn't see any in LA, Gabriel. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you call me in a couple of months, when we start getting snow, I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning to get to the airport for a trip down to your place. But you just got a desk set. And aren't you glad I didn't get the one with the telephone on it for you? You may be able to tempt me when it's 75 degrees and sunny, and Lisa will be mad. Lisa will be. You're doing what? We got to come up with an excuse. We're finally going to get around to looking at vac fillers. That's what we're going to do. You know, I would go back to New Crazy Allen's. That was fun. Maybe coordinate it with one of your pen club meetings or something. Oh, let's see. Having a vintage pen themed event in November. Anything for me to buy? Conklin's? Ross will be setting up. Well, how close is that to the Columbus show? That's my problem. No date's been given to you yet? Maybe it'll get me out of my pen club obligations. I actually did get some good feedback yesterday on future topics, so I was real happy with that. I haven't had any the last several months. You know, we had Twisby Day there one day, but get me a table or two. I think Lisa's slightly upset with me because in September I agreed to do this local event at this bookstore that is also a non-alcoholic. They have a non-alcoholic bar. But we had Pen Club there last year or something one day in the summer. I remember it was brutally hot. And they messaged me, say, "Hey, we're gonna have this little event. Do you want to take a table for I forget what it is, $65 for an 8-foot table or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do that. Why am I doing that? I said I would never do that again." Oh well, this is dumb. This is missing a piece. Well, you know what I need is I need a shorter pressure bar. It's all the same. I can't believe they thought this would work. How is this supposed to work? There's the hanging part and there's the button part. On what planet does that work? Does that really work? Is this like the Twilight Zone from last week where that stupid bar in that vest pocket worked? All right. That's crazy. That's really crazy. But I do need a shorter pressure bar. I'm going to have some made. What's a good size? What do you think? 62 hanging. Probably need it. Whatever size this is, you probably need it about 56. If you guys could have a shorter pressure bar, hanging pressure bar, what size would you make it? Okay, so these are the ones we're gonna test here today. Because I can get on the horn to my factory and have them make me a new size bar. All right, who watched the tour yesterday? Tour time. Was yesterday not the saddest day of the tour you've ever seen? It was for me. It's like everybody kind of went on remote mode after Vingegaard crashed. That Master 14 karat extra fine writes like a sailor pocket pen extra fine. I mean, it's pretty fine. They were all pretty fine. There was one that was kind of medium-ish. But that was it. And by medium, I mean Japanese medium. Yeah, what'd you think, Gary? I haven't watched much of the analysis. Yeah, change the complexity of the podium. It's never good. My personal take on it, I think Pogačar was there for Del Toro. It was obvious that Del Toro didn't have it. And if he could help him, if Pogačar could help Del Toro win, he would have greatly done that. But you can't tell me, you cannot tell me for a minute that Evenepoel was that much better than Pogačar on the final climb. No way. Not a chance. No how. No way. I bet $100 on it. But I think what Pogačar was thinking was he's not going to take advantage of Vingegaard crashing to win a stage. Not that he would have been taking advantage of it, but if he couldn't, if he couldn't race against Pogačar on that particular stage, or if he couldn't race against Vingegaard on that particular stage, which Vingegaard won last year, Did he win last year on that? No, this is new climb. But if he couldn't race that day, he wasn't going to win it. So, and if Del Toro wasn't going to win, then he was going to give it to Evenepoel. Because quite frankly, it didn't matter. And getting second still got him, 6 seconds. Now, yeah. Dope testing at 2 a.m. That's a very complex thing in and of itself, because there were actually my understanding is there's 2 different agencies that worked there. The UCI and then the agency that did the testing. Now, the UCI says you can't be disturbed between 11 and 6. But the agency that actually, which is the French agency, I think, they can do any time if they think that there's a reason. Which, now that leads into a whole nother chapter of conspiracy theories. Are they trying to find something so that Seixas can move his way up to the podium? I don't know. Pogacar still got 4 victories. Could have had 5 already. But you got 2 ascensions of Alpe d'Huez coming up this week. You think he'll take one? Pidcock's got the record. I think Pidcock's got the record up Alpe d'Huez. It was a long transition, so they didn't get to bed until midnight. They need to review arrangements. Yeah. Back in back when the tour started in 1903, there was back when the tour started, there were like 450 kilometer stages. So we know that's not happening now. There's no way. Can you imagine the television coverage of that? We're in the 12th hour of the Tour de France stage 1. But they took a day off in between. They took a rest day off in between stages. So, you think I'm correct with Pidcock's record? Yeah, because I think it was his first and maybe only Tour de France stage victory, which is kind of surprising that he won that. But so tomorrow will be interesting. Time trial. I think we've got Ghana's going to win, right? They had no gears on dirt roads. Yeah. It was brutal. It was brutal back in the day. I think tomorrow's not going to really shake up it might shake up the peloton a little bit. Might shake up the GC. This is nice. But if Ghana doesn't win, something is seriously wrong. Although it is week 3. He's tired. He hasn't really been doing a ton of work. Gary, I did get your email on those photographs, those prints. I've seen those before. I'm incredibly interested. My big problem with it is they're huge. Like, what am I going to do with those? Where am I going to put those? I'm not sure. Is the answer. They're like 2 feet by a little less than 2 feet. The course will suit Ghana. Yeah, it'll be. It might. It's going to either. Well, one thing's for certain: they're not going to stop talking about Seixas until the last day of the tour, and then some. Right? I'm kind of getting tired of hearing about how he's the youngest tour rider since 1937. Yeah, I saw them. They've been up there before, actually. Put them above the bed. Oh, yeah, that's going to go over really well. Really well. Hey, honey, guess what? And I just have kind of a small room right now, so. All right. Well, it's hard to believe it's the 3rd week already. So, and then we've got the women's edition, which everybody should watch. It only benefits the sport, and it's pretty exciting. Order portfolios from Matoya and start collecting art for your future home. That reminds me, I got to find some racks. I got to flatten all those images. I've got 184 images that are like curled up. Well, that's a good nib. You're still trying to find space for the 37 books you bought? I feel bad. I'm sorry I mentioned it. I mean, but it was right there. I thought of you. I was like, oh, Gary's got to have this. Sure enough, it's like right around the corner from here or wherever. Gary, you'll find this interesting. I'm sorting through the pictures, and I haven't done much in the past couple days, but I sorted through and I organized them into years. So there's only 2 years represented. There's 51 and 55. And I'm looking through and I see one image in 1951 that looks familiar. And as luck would have it, I have a picture from 19. So you should. It's your fault due to poor impulse control. As luck would have it, I have a photograph. I have a print from 1954 74 Tour de France. It's Federico Bahamontes. How do you pronounce his last name? The Eagle of Toledo, who won the Tour and didn't win it in 50. I didn't win it in 54. But he's climbing the Col d'Izoard. And I'm looking at this picture. I'm like, I recognize this background. I have a picture in 51 of Fausto Coppi climbing the Col d'Izoard. The exact same shot. It is really, really pretty freaky. So whenever I want to get a little better idea of line width, I'll double check on my Apica. This is a fairly wet nib. I guess it's not really fine. It is kind of medium. Classic historical climb. Yeah, it's just freaky, but it's the same angle because you can see the same rock formations in the Cassay Desert behind the riders in both photographs. It's like it's possible it could have been taken by the same photographer, and that was his position. He would camp out there, and I don't know how far it is. My task is to try to find where on the climb it is. I mean, it could be right back of the finish line, but I'm not 100% certain because there is no Google Street View on the Col d'Izoard, you know. So that one I definitely have to frame, and I'll put it next to the Eagle of Toledo. Giant photos in a portfolio fit well under a bed. Well, you see, there are like, how many of them are there, Gary? There are like 6. I mean, and they're from like what, what year are they from? 30? Something like that. And there were only 250 of each made. Prints made of these. It's kind of too bad they're not climbing it this year. That would be fun. All right, let's see if this works. Two of the books are on the Tour de France 74. They cover Merckx. Great. You're not going to look at those photos again as you might be tempted to buy them. Well, I'm going to say this once. They are in Australia. I mean, are they around the corner from you? 74 and 75. I mean, I know. I know. I know. Australia's a big, 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 big country. Continent. That's like saying, oh, what's the United States? It should be pretty close. Or telling a Texan, hey, well, it's in, Houston and Dallas. Those two are right next to each other, right? Yeah, no import duties. That makes them very tempting. I mean, do you have an indoor trainer? If you got an indoor trainer, number one, you need to get one. Number two, you got to have stuff up to keep you motivated. What better than to remind yourself that at one point in life, 2 gears was like a luxury. 45-minute drive using the freeway. See, if it was 45 minutes away from me, I would bid. But I'm not having that thing sent from us. I just can't do it. It's I have 3 very large, bigger than, A4 size prints. And one is Merrick's. One is Ulrich, which is the biggest one. It's obnoxiously large. If they were that close to you, you'd buy them for me. Merrick's Ulrich, which is maybe the best. It's the only color photograph in my cycling room. It's his win in 98. Lisa would love you for it. You're sure. We talked about it. She's like, those are big. You don't have room for those. Well, see, what I'm thinking is the new house that I buy in 2 or 3 years, I'll just put my bike in the basement, my trainer in the basement, and then I'll have the entire basement. I'll have all the wall space in there. You mix it up as a Sydney Lawson's auctions. They don't post, so you need to use another service, which adds to the cost. Oh, that's just ridiculous. I mean, really, seriously, nowadays, an auction house that doesn't ship, they expect you to show up? Do they want people to bid? I don't get it. This is a nice pen. I think Lisa tolerates my side hobbies. She was a little freaked out when she saw how much that lot cost, but when I told her, when I reminded her that the ones I usually buy are 20, 25, 30 bucks a piece, she was like, oh, well, that's kind of a good deal, isn't it? She goes, her first thought was, well, why don't you sell some of them? No. Well, see, Gary, you still could go. Right? Are they still 45 minutes from you? I mean, doesn't one of them have Alfredo Binda on it? I mean, how great would that be? The godfather of the toe clip and strap system? You have bought pens from them, then you have to use Packinson, which adds $100. Wow. For how many pens? I mean, it doesn't even matter, right? I mean, because I could pack 30 pens in a 9x6x2 box. They're 10 hours from you. Okay. Yeah. That's nuts. Yeah. Yeah. That's like driving from here to What is 10 hours from here? Holy cow, that's a long way. The Columbus show is closer than than that to me. That's nuts. All right, I'm going to do this one last because that's kind of... Should have brought that to Pen Club yesterday. That. It's $100 for one package. Oof. Oh, so pack and send picks it up and then packages and ships. Oh my goodness. $10 would get you to Salt Lake. That's a trek you haven't done in a while. Melbourne to Sydney is 10 hours in a car. It's a 1-hour flight. Oh my God. Busiest route in the world. Probably cost you more than $100 to take the flight, though, doesn't it? I have always said for a long time, I've always said that if you can go somewhere, now I'm not talking regional, like the major hubs around me are Milwaukee and Chicago, but I'm not talking about getting there, but I'm talking from the hub to wherever. If you can get somewhere for in the $300 range or less, that's a good price for a ticket, and I'm not gonna think twice about it. If it's more than that, then you got to stop and think, do I really need to go? Just a little over. They need to get from airport and Ox House and back. Sadly, I'm not expecting great things from this pen, but like I say, the price was right, and it's got my name on it. So it posts nice though. These post nice. I had some of these that were in really nice condition. Gold plated clip. The steel nibs are the type that they're kind of squinched at the end. Wow. So this is a wing flow. Pretty smooth. If you hit it on the right spot. Can't hang on to this loop like I normally hang on to my other one. I've got another Bolomo around here somewhere. I just don't know where it is at the moment. Here we go. It's often cheaper to fly to Bali than some of your capital cities. Wow. Okay, now that's worse. How is that worse? It's actually in alignment and it. So don't do this at home. Well, it really posts. How far does that post? Post down to there. Post like. Yeah, a little sharp on the edges. You'd like to be in Bali at the moment? Bit cold here. The morning rides are character building. You feel like a Belgium. Yeah, that's better. Not perfect. Not bad for a... What did I pay for this? $8? About the price of a Preppy these days. Oh, isn't that interesting? So you can't cap it when you have ink in it because it squirts ink all over the place. Look at that. So there's a breather hole there. You can't do it fast. You think you want some Cincinnati chili for supper? A 4-way with onion and cheese coney. Carby, but very Cincy. I've never heard of that term before. Well, it's an inexpensive pen. It was never meant to be anything it's not, so. It'll go next to the other Cardinal in my collection that I found in Chicago last year. Turns in here. What is that? Oh, that's a trim ring over the barrel. I see. What a mess this pen has made. Cincinnati chili is an odd thing. Greek chili on top of spaghetti, then piled with shredded cheese, is a big deal there. Okay, now we gotta stop talking about food. I felt like a solid hour and a half before dinner. Sorry, we can't be doing this. All right, I'll spin these out. I think these guys are good to go. Your mom's from Hamilton. Your uncle used to make it all the time. I was thinking of you today, Gabriel. I decided I needed a new page on the Esterbrooks website just for bandless pens. So there will be one. I actually had the test images I had. I didn't have much to choose from, and one of them happened to be a bandless pen, so I used that. I'm like, oh, why don't we just make a page for bandless pens? How goes the cleaning? Good. These pens here ready to polish up, and then I'm going to check this balance here once we clean it out. I might need a little shellac on this section. You were watching the move yesterday on TV, looked out the window to see two foxes on the shed roof behind the pool. Could not believe what you were seeing. I know, I can't believe when I watched the move either. Apparently the last couple editions of the move are something to watch. I suffered through an episode of it last week on rest day. Only discover that Peacock has a 5-part series. I think it's 5-part. Yeah, 5-part series on Phil Liggett. Way more interesting. All right. Well, you know, probably never, ever ink it again. But it is what it is. All right. So those are good. Those can go. What do we got? About 40 minutes. Is that enough time to bother with anything? I tell you what, why don't I take a look at this red Esterbrook here. Do I want to mess with this? This was such a bad idea. Remind me never to buy these again. Oh, this needs a... Oh, I put a bar in there. Oh. What happened? Are we talking about these guys? They're just a royal pain to clean. They're a royal pain to clean. Once you get them clean, then you have to hope that the needle is straight. And if the needle's not straight, it doesn't matter how clean you get it because it's not going to work. Because it needs to move up and down the slot perfectly. If it touches the wall, then it's not going to drop into place correctly. And probably what happens is over time, the original user's got to clean it at some point, takes it out, drops the needle or touches the needle wrong. But I mean, you know, they've taken forever to get clean, and then you let them soak in Rapido-Ease for 3 days, and there's still ink in them. You put them in Rapido-Ease in the ultrasonic, and it doesn't get it out. You put it in Dr. G's, and it doesn't get it all out. We got one to work. And I thought this one from Holland was going to be a good mix, but it apparently hasn't. Let's try to make fewer parts here. We can at least put the caps together or something. If I put the cap together, I'll have like 1, 2, 4 less parts, and it'll feel like I'm making progress. This guy's bent. This is why you don't put this kind of ink in a fountain pen, because it takes forever to get off. All right. Yeah, page for bandless. Well, I was kind of looking at, how I had things organized and how the new menu and category system is going to work. And I thought, well, I don't have to limit myself. Customer care hasn't said your name. Like, sorry, yeah, you're going to have to wait. I heard my name on a pen repair stream. It's probably pretty important. a little bit of ink on here that's showing up. I mean, once you figure in, see, because before all I had were pictures of like pens and not very many of pencils, but you know, if we want to show pencils, you've just doubled the number of images on your page. And for bandless, well, we're talking about a kind of a pseudo design change. So I think we need to also include dipless pens, desk pens, prototypes, different banding. Different locations of bandless banding. Bandless banding. Transitionals with bandless cap bands. Bandless caps. Did you know that's a thing? Did you know that? All right. Oh, this one's got good suction, but this needle sucks. Doesn't want to. Oh yeah, yeah, and this is madness. Here, I'll show you this. Like there was no way. I don't know if I could. You see that? There was no way we're getting that straight ever. Like it's probably never going to get straight. There's a little bend there. Comes back. I mean, maybe. I can't help but wonder if this is like a replacement needle to begin with. You know, maybe this, you know what I should try? Got my vise, maybe I can straighten it in here. Really, it's got this crimp way at the bottom. That's as straight as it's ever been. Talk about threading the needle. Oh, it doesn't want to go. Whoa, whoa. The trick is you've got to be able to push it down on your thumb, and then when you lift it up, it needs to drop down again, but it's not doing that. All right, so that one's no good either. What do we got cooking over here? How bad is this one? Oh, this one actually works. Because okay, so get this vise off my bench. I tell you what, this is a better looking barrel than that one, so let's use that. If I can make 2 out of these 5. That works. So I think we got a pen that works. Which is the better looking cap? We'll use that one. Kind of a horse apiece, but I like this one a little better. All right, so let's try that. Oh, and this one moves, but it didn't really fill as great as we thought it was going to. I mean, maybe that's all the further it fills. So the piston head is right there. Doesn't really go down very far. Let's just take a look at this again. Why is this part so long? It just doesn't seem like it belongs there, but it does slide over that. If that wasn't there, what would happen? I'm just playing here. Could we get more ink in this thing? Or none? Oh, it just spins. So it needs that on there. To make that go up and down. I think that's all the further this pen is supposed to fill. Because I've got it now, it's filled all the way up to here, but the piston head, it really is like here. But let's just for fun, pull this out again. Yeah, so if we look at this, I think that's all the further it can fill. This is the piston head in its furthest retracted state. It can't go any further down than this, because this piece is kind of long. That can't slip any further over it. It's in the right position. So if we look at it in relation to where the ink window is, it's just below the ink window. So it's filling up to the end of the ink window. And if you do it kind of twice, you can kind of get it almost all the way. Actually, third time's the charm. All right. If I could get these two to work and the other one I have works, then I would say I would feel good about that. And call it a nib, it's a needle. It's nice. So just because they're made for technical ink doesn't mean you have to put anything other than fountain pen ink in them. Always have 2 cups of water. All right, we'll try the deltograph. This one doesn't have a blind cap, so. My ink level, I think, is a little low on the. Is it really that broad? Is it just a little excess ink? Let's try it in the Apica. This page also, I used it for a couple other things, so I don't really trust that it's as smooth as it should be. Yeah, it's pretty broad. Just out of curiosity, I wonder. A little bit of feedback. So that's pretty broad. But yeah, it's got a little bit of a, and I think it's probably this tube. He's maybe got a little bit of a edge to it. Let's see if we can smooth that out a little bit more. Well, that's better. I don't know what do you call it? The pipe? I mean, feedback's gone, but mostly, it's a stylograph. You're always going to have a little feedback. I'll give that a go. I'll give that a pass. You caught a YouTube clip on the New England pop-up pen show. Small show, but it had good vendors and some really great vintage pens on offer. Yeah, that used to be the, I think that used to be the Boston show. One of the worst shows I ever went to. Sadly. Typically only eclipsed by the Long Island show, which I don't even know if it's still in existence. Long Island was just so bad because at the time of the year it always rained. Always, always, always rained. It was just a nightmare. Nightmare to get there. And they had parking. They had university parking police that were like totally after you for like. They wanted you to park your car like in the parking lot, far away from the entrance to the sidewalk. I'm not doing that. It was a ridiculous rule. You only ever go to the Triangle? That's a nice little show. I might go next year. Only problem is it's really close to, it's really close to Chicago, time-wise. Had some fond memories at that show. One year the power went out. Remember that? It was fun. I'm just going to pull this out. And there's a little bit of ink in the window there for some reason. Actually, it's right there on the... Power outage is a great memory. Yeah. I think they wanted us to leave the room too, and I was like, over my dead body. Or was that LA? I can't remember. It happened in LA once. There's a... Here we go. This one you don't have an ink window, so you don't have that problem. Kind of like the... You picked your brother up from the airport and we got back and no power. Perfect. Welcome to North Carolina. Well, I've told this story before. It's funny, but it's not funny. But I met my brother-in-law at the Miami Pen Show quite a number of years ago. Because I had flown in and then he was going to drive down and meet me for dinner, and we were going to have some beers and you know, dinner and whatnot. And he's kind of a jokester. He's funny. And he came in, and sadly it was the day that Jim Rouse had his you know, day Jim died. You know, and Jeff comes in, and we got the tables all pulled, and the room is like dead quiet, and there's like maybe whispers here or there, but like nobody's doing business because we're all like, we're looking at Jim, and the ambulance is there, and they got the stretcher and everything. And Jeff goes to me and goes, "That's how it is at all pen shows?" So, I mean, it's not funny, but it was funny. So, he was trying to lighten the mood. It worked. So to date, I think that's the only pen show he's ever been to. And back again. Two more folks wandered in. Yeah, you missed the giveaway. I gave away my entire bandless collection, including all the deluxe desk sets. All the bandless desk parts, desk pen part. The only pen show your dad went to you with was Detroit. That was a bit depressing. Well, that's not too far for him. I haven't been to the show since. Great. That's funny. 2017. Lisa and I were there. Yeah. I haven't been there since it changed ownership. I hear it's better. You keep thinking about going to the DC Pen Show. You should. Nothing to take away from the Triangle Show, but the DC Show is the, you know. Lisa and I were talking about it yesterday. I haven't been to the DC Show as an attendee since 2000. Let me get this right. 8. (2008) was the only other time I've been to DC and not been a vendor. And it was a wild ride too, man. What a show. Cleaned up all right. It's a must attend, yeah. Be ready for chaos. Gotta get to the gym. All right, Gary. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. It's right when you go back for school. I mean, if you can go even one day, it's... Now, I don't know what you collect or what you like, but it's king of vintage for sure. Every modern vendor will be there. Your dad bought a vanishing point from Lisa. The only thing he ever bought at his only pen show. We are proud to have made that happen. All the new debut stuff, yeah. Hey, those turned out all right. I think having 3 of these stylographs, I might just take the other 2 and go, you know what? We don't need to spend any more time with those and put them back together, and we'll address those maybe tomorrow. I actually do have, though. I've got a replacement stylograph tip. That's I could put in one of them. So maybe we'll look at that tomorrow. But I got 5 minutes to 5 here, and Lisa's going to be walking through that door any minute now. So go home and do my evening thing. I know how eagerly awaited new collabs and colorways to be released at the DC Pen Show. Oh my heavens. Oh, you're killing me. Have a great night. Yeah, thanks. You too, David. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll do it again tomorrow. I didn't get to those new consignment pens, those Conways, to test them, to take a look at them. So we'll start on those. We'll finish the Esterbrook. We'll look at that M2 tomorrow. Yeah, you have a good day too, Kibanosis. And we'll get those cooking, and then we'll start on those Conways, and we'll see what's cooking with those. So have a good rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. You expected that Battle collection next day air? Yeah, next day air. I'll throw them in the air. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.